Hey everyone, Andrew here, Melbourne Superman, and I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about my last race event. So I know that my videos have been few and far between, but I've been doing a lot of racing, I've been doing a lot of stuff with my fitness and nutrition, so that's right now where this channel is going to go. So as sort of the race season is ebbing and flowing, I'm doing different types of events. I've done an event that I've never done before. It's called the Spartan Deka Strong. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And I'm going to give you a little bit of my advice, some of the things that I went through, some of the things that I observed, and what I think is going to be useful for anyone who wants to do it. So just keep in mind that I am a Spartan ambassador. So if you are looking to race any of the Spartans in Australia, use my coupon code featured right here, and you can get 15% off of that race. So I want to talk a little bit about this Deka Strong event. So it is not something that I've ever done. So for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a bit like, I would liken it to high rocks. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is functional fitness, right? So it's kind of strength-based mostly. Well, in the Deka Strong, it's strength-based. There's the Deka Fit and there's the Deka Mile. Now the Deka Fit, I believe, is a 5K. So it's 10 zones spread out between 500 meters of running between each zone. And the Deka Mile is exactly that. It's a mile, 1,600 meters, 10 zones spread out, I guess, by 160 meters of running. So this one, there's no running. It's just all this strength-based obstacles, zones. So the zones, so I'm gonna look down at my notes here just to make sure I get all the information out. So number one, we've got 30 RAM reverse lunges. So a RAM is basically a cylindrical piece of equipment that is weighted. So in this case for the men, it's 25 kilograms or about 55 pounds. So it's 30 reverse lunges, so 15 on each leg. Second, we have a 500-meter row. Third, we have 20 times box jumps on a 60-centimeter box or 24-inch box. Fourth, we have 25 medicine ball sit-ups with a 9-kilogram ball. That's about 20 pounds. Number five, the fifth zone is 500-meter ski erg, which, for those of you who don't know what ski erg is, it simulates skiing. Number six is the 100-meter farmer carry with 27 kilograms in each hand, or about 60 or so pounds. Number seven was the assault bike. So it's normally 25 calories on the assault bike. We had a piece of different equipment apparently. So it wasn't an assault bike, it was just a different brand. So it was 30 calories on the assault bike. And then there was number eight, that's the eighth zone, is the dead ball shoulder over. So you're picking up a dead ball, throwing it over your shoulders 20 times with 30 kilograms for the men. That's about 65 pounds. A hectic little thing. Number nine is the 100-meter sled push and pull. So it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're going 10 meters up and back 10 times. And then that's the same thing with the farmer's carry. And then the final zone is 20 RAM burpees. So with a 20-kilogram RAM, or about 44 pounds. So I went into this thing not knowing what to expect, really. I took about 4 weeks to prepare for it. So that's 3 weeks plus the final week. So the final week, I count that as preparation because I did do some work leading up to it. So a little bit of background about me. I like to compete. I like to race to win, or at least try to win. I'm not talking about big 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 runner marathons. I'm talking about, the road races, 5Ks, 8Ks, 10Ks, and Spartan events in particular. So I generally race the age group competitive waves for the Spartans. Now I've never won. I've not won yet. I've come in top 5 in the competitive waves for Spartans, top 10. I've come in top 5, top 10 for road races, 5Ks, 8Ks, 10Ks. I've come in top 3 for my age category. Oh, I'm sorry, top 5 for my age category in some of those road races. Now this particular event, spoilers, it was a great success for me, I think. I did come in first for my age group on the first day, which is awesome. So interestingly enough, my age group, I'm 39, but they categorize your age group as the age that you will be once the season ends. So the season ends, I think, in October. So that means by the time October rolls around, I'll be 40. So they put me in the 40 to 44 category. So technically a master's. Oh God, I hate myself. So I came in first for that. So that's really exciting. So now this was a really interesting preparation. So I will say, if you're going to do one of these things, if you're going to do a Deka Strong, prep for it. Simulate the race. So my awesome coach, Kirk DeWint, over at the Running Public, He gave me basically, I've been working with him for a couple of years. He gave me a block leading up to this where every Thursday we would do a complete race sim. So I would do 10 minutes jog warm up, and then I would do a complete race sim of all the zones, and well, all the zones that I could. I didn't really have access to a sled, so I had to simulate that as best as I could. And then afterwards I would do anywhere between a 40 to 60 minute sort of compromised run. So the first week the run was an incline run after that. So it was just like, I think it was like 50 minutes of incline running, 15% just go for 15 minutes. And then the second week was 50 minutes flat. And then the third week was 50 minutes incline again. The fourth week, which was not a complete race sim. So the fourth week, this Thursday, that was the 2 days before the race. So basically I just used that to shore up my technique on some of the things that I wasn't, that I wanted to make sure that I did well. Like for example, my rowing, my ski erg. I'm not used to that stuff. I don't do that stuff a lot. So I really worked on those. And then it was a 30-minute easy jog recovery after that. But I will say that those race sims really saved my life, especially because I only had 4 weeks to kind of prepare for this thing. So the best way to, it's interesting, when you run a race, when you run a road race, the best way to prepare for it is not necessarily to run that race. It's to do interval training. It's to do long, easy runs. It's to do recovery runs. It's to do speed workouts. It's to do threshold running. There's so many different things that you can do. For this, it was just, let's just run the movements, leading up to the race at about 80 to 90% of race effort and get used to the movements. And I think that really helped a lot. I didn't have access to some of the equipment like the rams, so I had to improvise, and I'd use barbell with 30 kilograms loaded up onto it for like the reverse lunges and everything. I didn't have a 30 kilogram dead ball, so I had to just either do deadlifts or just really go gung-ho on a lighter dead ball for many more reps. So, I quickly learned in my race sims that my reverse lunges, I have a real imbalance. I couldn't keep my balance at all. The 500 meter row, really easy to gas out on. The box jumps are just terrible. The medicine ball sit-ups, actually, you can use the medicine ball sit-ups as a recovery, because the momentum of the ball actually helps you once you're about halfway up, and then you slam it to the ground. So that is kind of a recovery movement. But then you get into the 500 meter ski erg, and that's also obnoxious. The 100 meter farmer carries also suck. Kind of everything after the medicine ball sit-ups sort of kind of sucks. Especially the salt bike. Oh my God. But anyway, okay, so the event was held at the Australian Fitness Expo. And it was a really amazing event. It was generally, these are held inside gyms or inside arenas. So it was a very small space. It wasn't a big space at all, but they just set up the zones right one after another. So my first piece of advice, when you're doing these events, especially if it's a Deka Strong, like pace yourself on the first two movements, especially. Like if you go out on the 30 reverse lunges and the 500 meter row, like your life depends on it, you're going to get to the assault bike and you're going to be bleeding out. You're going to be bleeding out because just like any other race, you will not win a race in the beginning of the race, but you will lose it there if you go too hard. Same thing with a marathon, right? If you go out of the gate for your 42.2 at a 30 second per kilometer faster than you're normally used to, by the time you get to 20 Ks, you're done. Your race is done. You're not going to get that time back. You've lost it all. So you've got to really start out easy. Same thing here. Because if you get to the assault bike and you're gassed, that 30 calories or that 25 calories is going to take you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. I mean, I saw people doing it in 6 minutes, which, hey, do you know what? They're doing it in 6 minutes. They're doing it faster than the people on the couch, right? So like no disrespect to that at all. Everybody's journey is different. But for me, I knew that I wanted to get a certain time. I wanted to stay competitive here. So that's the first piece of advice. Pace yourself on those reverse lunges. Pace yourself on that 500 meter row. Really figure out what your stroke is. Now, you could adjust the dampener settings on the rower and the ski erg and all that stuff. I don't know what any of that means, so I didn't touch it. I just left it there. I think that's just it. I think it's like gears on a bike, I guess you liken it to. So I didn't really touch any of that stuff, so I'm not going to get into any of that at all. And then the 20 box jumps. This is where you can kind of afford to pick it up a little bit because you're right about to have your medicine ball sit up recovery. And that was probably the best station, the medicine ball, because it was just like, it is recovery. You're being helped by the momentum of that ball to keep yourself going. Once you're done there, you've got the ski erg. Now the ski erg and then the farmer's carry is really tough because the ski erg, for me, I'm not terribly tall, so I don't have the height at my advantage. I'm just under 6 foot. So I have to go all the way up and all the way down, and I'm using my legs a lot, but you're also really using your arms. So 500 meters of that, about, I'd say just under, I think it took me just under 2 minutes for that. Same with my row, 500 meters, just under 2 minutes. Ski erg, just under 2 minutes. I'm not breaking any records here. It's, whatever. But when you're done with that, your triceps and your shoulders, even your biceps a little bit, are fried. And then you right away got to go to this 100-meter farmer carry. If you're a man with 27 kilograms, I'm not sure what the weight is for the females, but you're doing that up and down 100 meters. That's tough. It torches your grip. It is crazy. And then all of a sudden, so that takes you however long it's going to take you. You're onto the assault bike. And now you're using both your legs and your arms. And the good thing about the assault bike is when one thing gets tired, you can take over with the other. So if your legs are tired, you can really pump with your arms. If your arms are tired, you can really pump with your legs. But everything sucks on the assault bike. I'd say 30 calories, I think probably took me about, I don't know. I think it definitely took me over 2 minutes. I think it didn't take me quite 2.5, but it took me, I think, probably at least 2:10. And I was fighting for every single one. I think I was pretty gassed at that point. I started out conservatively knowing that the assault bike would kick my butt, but I was pretty gassed at that point. So right after that, you've now torched your entire body, your legs, your core, your arms, your shoulders. Now you've got to do this goddamn dead ball shoulder over with a 30-kilogram dead ball. So you're using your legs to get down there and deadlift it up and over, using your legs, your arms, your shoulders, your core, everything. And that, man, 20 doesn't sound like a lot, but it gets you. And at this point, I'm sweating a lot. So just even getting the act of picking up this dead ball is hard because everything is sweaty and so it's slippery. So it's like you're dropping it, you're going all over the place. It's like, oh my God in heaven, let this end. So you've done that, and now you've got to do the sled push and pull. Again, the sled push and pull, you can use it as a recovery because you can use your whole body and really push into it. When you're leaning back, you can really lean back and pull it with you. And you can use that as a bit of a recovery. It is still tough. It is still tough because you're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for 100 meters. So it just feels like it's never going to end. I feel like my ref actually made me do an extra lap, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm not angry at that. I'm not going to dwell. Dean, you know who you are? But I think you did me dirty, dude. I think you did me dirty. But anyway, can we hear that? Can we hear that motorcycle outside? We don't need that. Anyway, so you finish the sled pull. And now, by this point, you're done. You're done. Everything is worked. I was redlining the whole time. I'm pretty sure I had an average of 165, 170 beats per minute, which for a run, I can keep that up for a much longer period of time. But for something like this, where it's all metabolic, any kind of exercise is metabolic, Andrew, don't be an idiot. But you know what I mean? It's all muscular. It's all strength-based. And you add the heart rate into it, it kicks your butt. So now you've got these 20 burpees, which burpees suck as it is, but now you've got it with this 20-kilogram cylindrical thing. So you're going down, doing your push-up, coming up, and you got a full extension with this 20-kilogram weight. And it's just the worst. It's it probably took me, I'd say at least 2.5 minutes to, maybe close to 2.5 minutes to do these burpees. Because it's just ridiculous. And you're just it's almost over, but every single burpee hurts and every single one seems further away from 20 than you actually are. But you finally do it, you finish, and it's like, fine, you put down this thing, and you've got your Deka mark. You've got your Deka mark. For me, it was 17 minutes and 17 seconds. I was really happy with that. I thought I would do it in less time, but I didn't really have anything to base that off of, because my simulations, which I talked about, I did all the exercises, but I had to simulate some, and so it wasn't quite accurate, but it was as accurate as I could be. So 17, first in my age group. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I would love to do that again. It makes me want to kind of do high rocks in July. It's very different, of course, but you know, just running. I like running. But it was, yeah, I think that the things that I would take away from this, like if you're really wanting to do this, figure out what the movements are, figure out how to incorporate those movements into your training, do your race sims, like absolutely do the movements, all of them back to back to back, because nothing's going to prepare you for that like doing that. Because when I tell you these are all the exercises that make you want to vomit, they are all the exercises that make you want to vomit. So if you don't have any practice doing that in your training, it's going to be a really miserable day. Like it just is. And racing on its best day, if you're really going for it and you're really racing competitively with yourself or with somebody else, it's going to be miserable on its best day anyway. Racing isn't fun. It's hard, it's tough. I mean, it's fun, but it doesn't feel good a lot of the times. It's uncomfortable. You're living in that pain cave. So if you don't have any idea what that feels like, going into something like this, that raw and that fresh and that new, it's going to rock you. So I would definitely incorporate the race sim. If I could do it all over again, I would give myself more time. I'd probably give myself closer to 8 weeks just to see what that would do. Next time I will, just to see what that would do. And I would probably take an extra day during the week instead of just one, and actually just focus on those harder movements that might, you know, cost me time, like the throwovers and the burpees and the box jumps, and working on my row, my strokes, and all that kind of stuff. So I would definitely specialize in the weaker areas. Nutrition-wise, I mean, for a Deka Strong, I had an English muffin and peanut butter beforehand, maybe like a half hour, 45 minutes beforehand. It's not an endurance trial. I mean, it is, but it isn't. So it's not like you have to carb up like crazy, because it's going to take, I mean, if you're athletic and you're competitive, it's going to take you anywhere from 12 to 18, 19 minutes. And I think the slowest, or I hate to use the word slow, but I think the person who did it the most time probably did it in 35 minutes or so. So it's not like a long time. So you might want to have something in your stomach, but you don't have to have a crazy amount of food, like as if you were going to do like a 2 or 3 hour race. And then post, I just fueled like I would at the end of a workout. I had a protein shake. I had some amino acids, one of those amino energy drinks from, I think Optimum Nutrition, which is awesome. Oh yeah, it would have been. So Optimum Nutrition sponsored it. But yeah, other than that, it was just a great event. Like the volunteers were awesome. The dude Declan who was running it was just amazing. Big shout out. It was epic. So I really highly recommend it. Definitely, if you're going to do it, work on those movements. Add the running before and after, just to, you know, really drive home the fact that you can do some compromised work. I think is really, really important. And again, if you want to do any Spartan races in Australia, use my coupon code featured here for 15% off. Now that does not include the Deka. That's just the regular Spartan races. So, which I don't know that there are any more Dekas in Australia this year anyway. But anyway, that is a little bit of a journey and a bit of a tips session from my very first Spartan Deka Strong. So look, thanks so much for watching. Again, if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notifications bell, ding, ding. And be sure to follow me on Melbourne Superman on Instagram. I will catch you next time.